back to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast. I'm joined as always by my lovely co-host,
Travis Patrick.
And today's going to be a fantastic episode. But if you haven't noticed by our apparel, we got shirts.
The Lunch Table Podcast is finally here. It only took 9 episodes. But it's
long
finally
enough.
Here.
Yep.
It's finally here.
So last episode we talked about a giveaway, and we actually have those giveaway items right here. These are special Lunch Table Podcast koozies, 2 of 2, and 2 of you will potentially get one.
Yes. Don't forget, we'll be doing the drawing on episode 10, so next week, and we'll figure out who the winner is.
Yep, and what was the secret code word?
The secret code word was lunch table. You need to DM that to our Instagram to get entered into the raffle.
And you have to also comment on our Instagram post, whether it's for the hypothetical question or just tell us how the episode was and what you think. So, with that being said, are you ready to get into it, Travis?
Let's get into it. I'm excited.
I know we had to start this 3 or 4 times just to get you ready.
I'm ready.
All right, everybody. Our guest is someone very important to us. She taught us for 4 years. Someone who always believed in us. Every single one of us who walked in her classroom. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonna Mueller.
Woo!
Oh, I'm hype. I'm so hype.
Get this done. Okay.
How's it going?
Good.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? You know, what do you teach? How long have you been teaching?
Let's see. So I've been teaching for 18 years, and I taught for a long time at Ray Peck, and then I decided to come back to Sherwood because that's where I went to high school. That's where my husband went to high school, and we live just right across, right down the road.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. That is awesome. So, have you been keeping up with the podcast? You've been watching? Have you watched any?
I haven't watched. I just listen.
Okay.
Yeah, I just listen. Mostly because that's the easiest thing for me to do at night when I go to bed is just like listen and.
You're saying we put you to sleep?
Yeah.
No. Oh, nice.
No, that's the only alone time I have.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I feel that.
All right. We ready to get into the questions, Trev?
I am ready, and I am excited, and this is going to be great content.
It's going to be fantastic. Travis, why don't you go ahead and introduce the segment?
Well, hold on. Let's first thank Jonna for coming on today.
Another clap.
Thank you so much.
You are more than welcome.
Means a lot to us.
Now, a lot of people were waiting for this
I
episode.
wouldn't let you down.
All right. Well, let's get into the beans.
The beans.
What is?
Hey, whoa! What's the segment called?
Oh, sorry. 5 real questions with.
Oh my gosh!
5 real questions, 5 real answers with 3 real people.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. I had a long day at work today.
He's very excited too.
Well, let's kick this off. What's your favorite part of teaching?
Probably I have so many parts of teaching that I love, but probably my favorite part of teaching is like getting to interact with you guys and getting to know you guys and being just a small part of your journey. Because it's so special to see you guys. One thing that I lacked at Ray Peck is it was 1 year and done. Mm-hmm. And at Sherwood, I get to follow you guys and, your journey and seeing you as freshmen, and then seeing you get ready to graduate. And so probably the best part of teaching is being that little bit of the journey that, I don't know, it's just so fun to see how amazing your lives turn out.
Right.
And I also just really love like those aha moments in class when you finally see a kid that's gotten it, or you finally see a kid that's realized their worth, and or you see them excel in something that they've been struggling. And they always say, teachers give up within like the first 5 years, whether it's stress, whether it's pay, no matter what it is. But really, it's if the teachers can make it past that 5-year hump and not take themselves so seriously. I mean, yeah, you got to take your content seriously, but not take yourself so seriously. Like, then I think that they should have a broader understanding of what it means to be a teacher. So really, it's just being part of that journey is so special.
Right. Now, you were a big impact on us. I think my favorite class I had, and I think Travis might agree with this, is the college prep English.
Yes.
That really,
Senior year, for sure.
so that really, like you said, the aha moments. Like, I didn't think I was going to get a single scholarship. I didn't think I was going to get anything. And then, I went in there and I got a lot of the local scholarships. I didn't get the big ones, but a lot of the local scholarships that saved my butt. And you were pushing me to write those, or pushing everybody in that class to, write these essays. You can use them for other things. And so that's a big impact, because a lot of teachers, they'll push you, but not in the way you push us.
Yeah. Definitely pushed us. I remember from freshman year, you coming in and yelling at us because we were talking too much, to times where you were just joking and you would walk in the classroom out of nowhere and slam the door and start screaming at us as a joke, and we'd all get all serious and be like, oh gosh, and then you start laughing and we're so confused.
A lot of fun memories in your classes, for sure.
Or Colin getting kicked out of class.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He was my first one that I ever kicked out at Sherwood. If you haven't heard that story, I don't remember 100% what was said at the very beginning. I think I said something like, if you understand these concepts, and he said, you mean D's nuts? And I was like,
I remember.
Colin! I was like my second week of school or something. I'm like,
your face turned so red. I'll never forget it. You're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Well, no one really believed. I don't think in that moment Colin believed what was happening. Like, he stood up and he was like, "Are you serious?" And yeah, go to the and we're like, "What? Did she actually just do that?" She just told us like last week that she doesn't do that.
I know, yeah. And then I think I panicked in that moment where I was like, I gotta be strict and I gotta be hard. And then I took him out in the hallway and I'm like, what are you doing? Don't embarrass me like that again. And let him right back into class. Now that wouldn't faze me at all. But back then,
you've seen some stuff with our class.
I've seen a lot of things with your class. Yes.
Oh man. Well, that's awesome.
That was good.
So with that, what's your favorite memory of us, or either of us, that you can remember?
So the one with Travis is definitely super funny, and the one with Pierce is more emotional.
Oh.
But like with Travis, I remember he lost a bet to me. And he had to put on his swimming trunks. I had to call his mom first. I had to call Katie, and I had to get approval for him to put on swimming trunks. And we went outside, and he had to, was it jump in a snowdrift in your swimming trunks?
Yes.
Yeah, he had to jump in a snowdrift in his swimming trunks, and I got to videotape the whole thing. I should send that to you guys.
Please.
Yeah,
Send
I'll see if I can't find it. Or, every time I would walk into the room, Travis would try to scare me. And I do have a video of that one. When Mrs. Carter and I would walked in the room and he scared us. Or, Travis just never coming back to class. I never knew where he was or what he was doing. He would be like, I'm going to go to the bathroom, and then 50 minutes later, he's been in the gym shooting basketballs and doing whatever Travis does. But definitely with Pierce, it was when you won my grandma's scholarship.
It was awesome.
And it was very emotional because my grandpa had picked that. And it was, I remember him reading it and being like, this embodies everything, that your grandma would have wanted.
Wow.
And so it was really emotional for all of us. Because, we take everybody's names off, and my sister and I don't get to choose. My grandpa chooses. So it was just a really emotional time. But I remember when your dad got up and he hugged you. And I just remember, losing it, because life is so hard. And so to know that you have someone that has your back like that was just like she had my back in the same way.
Right.
All of us.
Right.
And so knowing that you had somebody like that was just that was the best emotion outcome that could have happened in that moment. So that was my favorite memory.
Man, I can meet tear.
Yeah, it was like a movie in that moment. Yeah. And, I didn't think I was going to win that one just because I put it off for so long. And then I think you or my mom got on me like, hey, you should do the scholarship. I'm like, well, I've been working on it. And she goes, you haven't started it. I'm like, how do you know? John had told me. I'm like, oh. So I wrote that, and there was a lot of good people who could have won it, and I was very blessed and fortunate to have. And golly,
Yeah,
it's crazy that when you said that, I totally, that was like a weird time in our lives because of COVID and everything. So I don't really remember. But whenever you said Pierce went down to his dad to give him a hug, I replayed the exact moment of everything. Yeah. I remember it fully now.
Oh, yeah.
And your dad and you gave I remember it was like the most like powerful hug ever. Like,
it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like you guys ran up to each other like it was like a movie. Yeah, seriously.
It was.
Like it was
I wish
awesome.
we would have videotaped that in that moment. But you're right, I can see it like crystal clear in my head too.
I cried like a baby. Well, because you read it out loud, and there's like people like sniffling around, like golly, like why I can't cry at what I wrote, like.
Well, and you guys have been through a lot. I mean, you'd lost your prom, you'd lost your spring sports. I remember Travis was so pumped about track. You were so pumped about baseball. Mm-hmm. Everybody had already bought their prom stuff, mm-hmm. and then I remember sending you guys off, to our spring break and thinking they're not coming back. And the school hadn't said anything, but I just remember it was globally, it was so bad. And so then when they were like, oh, we may not get, because, they wouldn't let us have the prom. And I remember when they were saying, we're not going to have this awards night, we're just going to have to contact him and say. And then I remember Mr. Himes being like, we are having this awards night. Mm-hmm. Like, if we have to have it outside and they can only invite 2 people, like, we are doing this. Right. Mm-hmm. And that was such, I think that kids don't realize how much behind the scenes he pushes for you guys. And that, nor graduation or anything, wouldn't have happened if he hadn't solidly went to bat for you guys. So I feel like it was just everything all at once, that you had lost so much. And then here's your future. And you're so fearful of your future because of this global pandemic. Right. Mm-hmm. And everybody's emotional. And then, and then you hugged your dad and everybody was just like, oh, God, yeah. Me included,
I just remember walking up there, and then, you were tearing up. Crystal was tearing up. Macy was up there. I just gave you all a hug and thanked you all. And because I don't think your grandpa was there.
No, he wasn't.
I was going to say. But I remember I walked up to him in public when I was like, hey, you weren't there, but I really appreciate you.
Yeah, he couldn't come because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't let us invite any outside people. Right. And so it was, definitely, but he was definitely there. I mean, he definitely, picked it. And, I was crying as hard as I was crying at Travis's wedding.
No, so that one was a really tough one to win, emotionally, and then I won the Ellie Liebenguth one too, which was hard back to back. Right. Like everyone was crying, and then we're all crying again. I'm like, it was crazy.
And then we have a huge pandemic going on, so everyone's also crying.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's freaking out. Yeah, we were just happy to be outside with everybody.
I remember I was so bummed that we didn't have a grad night, like how everyone goes like Dave and Buster's or something.
Oh yeah.
Or main event. I was so bummed. I really was so excited to do it. That's what I was looking forward to go have fun with everyone and stay up till 3 a.m. and then go play kickball the next morning or whatever. Right. The events that happen.
Yeah, it is. And I definitely feel like if you guys can survive that, you can survive anything. Yeah. Because so much was taken from you, but yet when, it came time for your graduation, you're sitting 6 feet apart on the bleachers, and all that stuff, you never complained. It was just like, this is how it is. We're going to roll with it. We're going to make the best of it. And that's how you have to play life. So
I would have been really bummed out if we didn't actually have a graduation.
Right.
Well, I remember because it rained. So then I remember with COVID and everything, he had a plan A and plan B. If it did rain, it'd be 4 days later.
Right.
And I think it did get canceled, and then we pushed it back. I don't
remember.
Something weird happened.
We did a parade.
I remember the parade.
The parade was nice.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Because we were sending Drayden off to military.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he had his.
And he had a little
I remember that picture. We took, our whole class took that picture right in front of the school.
Yeah.
And then we got in trouble for it. Yeah. Because everybody was all together. We're all hugging and touching.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
Totally worth it.
We'll have to pull that picture up and put it in.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I was in that picture. I think I was too far back in the line because everyone got off and because that was the end of the parade.
We'll Photoshop you.
Thanks. Like the Instagram post.
Yeah.
No, a lot of great memories. What's your favorite memory in John's class?
My favorite memory. I have a couple favorite memories, but I'd probably say the one I will never forget is one time, is along with the snowy bets that we always made, and he had those big glass windows. I opened up the windows in your class, and there's so much snow on the side. I scooped up a big snowball, and I forgot who it was. No, it wasn't someone. I started making a bunch of snowballs. We had a snowball fight in your class. And you were outside the door before school or class started, and you walk in, you see snowballs getting thrown everywhere.
Yeah, that was a good time. That was always a good time.
Oh, that class was... I looked forward to that class every day.
What's your favorite memory?
There's so many. I mean, it doesn't really have to do with Jonna, but like Brandon Young.
I love him.
He ate the whole watermelon, rind it, ate it like an apple.
Oh my gosh, that was a
do
great
that with
moment.
like bananas, dude. I remember
Everything.
He used to.
Oranges. Ugh.
Oh, the oranges.
No,
yes.
the slide.
The slide.
Remember when he would run? And
Yes.
the slide?
Yes.
Remember that
Yes.
one time we made bets how far he could
down the
slide?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, when he did that, I'm pretty sure he zoomed, like, he went flying.
He was booking it.
Yeah.
Golly.
You know what? I should send you the senior dance, too. That was one of my favorite ones, too. When we did the...
our flash mob. Or a lip sync battle.
Yeah, our lip sync battle. Remember
that?
Yeah.
That was so fun.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
A lot of long hours after school.
Yeah, totally worth it.
That
was super, super fun.
Every time I hear those 3 songs that were in it, I'm just like, remember that one I do the dances still.
I know,
I'm like,
right?
I totally forgot about that until you said that.
Yeah.
We did it at the assembly or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember that.
we destroyed the competition.
We did. Even with Mr. Himes in a Britney Spears skirt.
Yes.
You can't beat
Or do you... Actually, one of a good memory with you, I remember you were in charge of doing the assembly for like the first day of school or whatever.
Yeah.
And you had us because we were seniors and we weren't scared to do anything.
Oh, yeah.
And you had us dress up in like things that you can and cannot wear. And I put on like a crop top fishnet.
And Colin wore booty shorts.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. That was a good time.
I remember I said, oh yeah, I'm fine with that. I'll do that. I'm not scared. As soon as I walked down, I seen all these people's faces. I was like, this is awkward.
Oh my gosh, that was such a great moment. That was a good one.
Do you remember the pep assembly when me and you did that balloon game and you put the balloon on me and you fought? Oh my gosh, I wish that was on video. All right.
A lot of good memories.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this guy's not even prepared.
All right. Along with that, let's go on to the next question. What has changed since you started teaching to now?
Actually, not a whole lot. I mean, I think that your classroom is the atmosphere that you make it. And so not a whole lot has changed for me. Maybe me being more comfortable or I'll tell you. Am I allowed to say whatever I want on here?
You say
Whatever
Okay.
you want.
So what has changed for me is, the awareness of how much love kids need. So when you see kids that are, when I first started, it was just being homosexual or lesbian and transgender or something like that. And it went from me growing up in a school not understanding that. And almost being a little bit afraid of it because it was something I hadn't ever really experienced. And then I had a girl commit suicide while I was at Ray Peck. And I just remember her pain so profoundly because she just wasn't understood. And I just remember in that moment thinking, if we could have just reached her and said, it's okay. Whatever you identify, whatever it is. And, because for those people that hate when people are, I don't even like the word different, but when people don't understand that people feel different ways and they would rather them hide it and be uncomfortable in their own skin rather than just be who they are, have never looked a kid in the face when that kid is trying to decide between life and death.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would much rather a kid receive love and, unconditional compassion and be who they are rather than to think to take their own life.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that has profoundly changed in me, my teaching, understanding the sensitivity that you need to have with that, and how much love you need to give to those situations is something that has profoundly impacted me. I may not understand 99% of things, but one thing I do understand is I'm nobody's judge, as I'm not God.
Right.
And nobody should ever be denied love. And that's not from people, not from parents, not from siblings, not from friends. Like, you don't have to live their life. They're not asking you to understand. They're just asking you to love them. Right. And I think that is probably the only thing that has changed for me in teaching, is just understanding now that you can change that person's life just by, and maybe you never know they have those feelings, but just by respecting them as a person and stopping it whenever kids are like, oh, you know me, I don't like when they use gay in a derogatory manner, so stopping it and being like, you're not going to talk that way in my classroom. Right. Yeah. I hate that stuff. And so to stop it and make someone maybe in that classroom realize that this is a safe place and we don't do that here. I think that's what's changed the most for me.
Right. So something my dad always tells me with work and school kind of go hand in hand with this is, people go to work or they go to school to get away from the outside stuff. It should be kind of a place where you don't have to think about what's going on the outside. And but if you're not enjoying or you're not being treated well where you're at, then it's not helping. No,
not at all. And you may be the only bright spot in that person's day. So be the bright spot. I mean, it really doesn't take much. Like, I don't like people that gripe about everything. And it really doesn't take much. Just shut the hell up and be happy. Right. Yeah. Just be happy. Like, you have one life to live. You can either spend it being miserable or you can spend it being happy. Right. Yeah, you know what? 99% of the time, my health isn't great. I'm broke. I'm, whatever it is. But I'll be damned if I'm not going to get up every single morning and be like, I have healthy kids. My husband loves me. My sister is my best friend. I have a great job. All of these things. And I'm going to be happy about it. And that's what I want for those kids.
Right. That's why you're a great teacher. That's why we loved coming to your class. It was such a home environment. Like, if you haven't had her, like, we could go in her class and make us a cup of coffee or a cup of hot chocolate whenever.
I thought it was crazy that you would go out on your own time with your own money.
No.
And buy
Lance's money.
Sorry. Shout out Lance.
But you'd go out and you would buy all these snacks every week. Like, I'm going to go out and say probably pretty close to $100 in snacks a week. Yeah. Pretty close. And you made sure to let everyone know any point in time. Doesn't have to be if they're in your class or not. They can walk in your classroom and grab a bag of chips or something. Right. It's just, you're so careful to everyone, and everyone knew that your classroom was
safe place.
Well, like, even if I'm not supposed to be in your class at this hour, I could knock on your door. You'd let me come in and sit in the back or whatever.
Absolutely. Because, like I said, I really believe that I was born to be a servant. That, like, that's what God put me here for. Mm-hmm. And I'm so happy for that. Like, genuinely, I'm so happy for that. Because I get to do what I love every single day. And I get to be a servant in so many different ways that I just really feel like that this is not even being cheesy or anything. I just really feel like this is what God has led me to do. Mm-hmm. And I'm just so forever thankful for that,
Right. well, we're glad too that he led you there because we wouldn't have you in our lives. Like even after school, I mean, like right now, you're taking the time out of your life, your busy life, to hang out with us and talk on this silly little podcast.
That's gonna be famous.
It's Travis's goals.
I will say though, it's along with what you said, Pierce, about the what your dad told you about work and home, the lifestyle. It's funny that you said that because today some random guy, a different company, I was driving past him and he threw a rock at my machine, just like messing with me. But he wasn't like he didn't like throw. He like just tossed it to get my attention, being funny. And he told me, he's like, "How old are you?" I said, "I'm 21. I'm turning 22 in a couple months." And he's like, "Well, just take it however you want to take it, but as you're young, if you can't have fun while you're working, don't do it."
Right.
He said, "Don't work for that company. If you can't have a little fun, there's no reason being out here. Make sure you can always have fun doing something you love."
Yeah.
Just always be, like, if you hate your life or hate your job that you're working, you can always go somewhere else. There's other people who will bring you in. Like, I have best friends that are 60 years old, and I'm 20.
Right. That's how I feel.
I show up to
sometimes.
work, and they're not there. I'm like, "Hey, where's Ron at?" or whatever. Like, "Oh, he had a doctor's appointment." I was like, "Oh, hopefully," and I'll text him, "Hey, you good?" It's crazy. It really is.
Yeah, it's crazy. We go being friends with people like 3-4 years difference than us, and now your best friends are 40, 50, 60. And
He's got kids that are my parents' age almost. Like, he's old.
Dang. Oh man, that was a really good story. Like, is there anything else you'd like to add to that, or?
No, because I don't really think anything else has really changed for me. Like I said, I think you set the atmosphere in your classroom, and you can ask kids to come to right here or come to right here.
Right.
And so I think that's the only thing that's changed for me.
I will say, along with that, how you're talking about the girl at Ray Peck, that a lot of people don't understand how big of an impact suicide takes on someone until it happens to
Right.
you.
Oh, yeah.
Because, everyone's always talked about it. There's always been assemblies, like, suicide awareness and whatnot. But we never had, or in my instance, I never had anyone that I knew that had committed suicide until our senior year when it happened to one of our dear friends. So, and it really took a big toll on all of us, I remember. And we were all heartbroken about the whole thing.
Well, and I think still are.
Yeah.
It's something you never get over, and it changes your life so profoundly that all of a sudden it's not ridiculous to check on people and to just say, "I'm here. I may not understand, but I'm here." And I just think that if more people, like you said, until it happens to you and impacts you, you don't understand, and a little kindness goes a long way.
Mm-hmm. That's what I feel like a lot of people don't understand. And it's people just take it too far, but they don't understand they're taking it too far until that person that they're taking it too far on does something in retaliation of it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have been jokingly rude to them.
Yeah.
You thought it was funny. Maybe that person has a bad home life, and it really they hate their home life. They go home to it every day, and they come to school to escape that.
Yeah.
But then you're just pounding it more and more on top of them."
That was tough.
Yeah.
I have to drive by his house every day.
Yeah.
And all those memories just flood back. It's just it's rough, but someone's got to do it.
Yeah, it's something like you'll never understand
until it happens.
Yeah. And well, even when that happens, like, you'll always wonder, like, what could I have done differently?
Right. I think that's absolutely. And I think the only thing that you can say that you can do differently is just wake up, and whatever you're handed that day, it's not going to happen every day, but whatever you're handed that day, make the best of it. And then make sure just to always be kind. Are there situations where you just can't? Like, people force you into those situations. Like, I will do everything I can to be kind until people force me where I cannot be kind. And, but I think, just I don't know, just waking up every day and choosing to be happy and choosing kindness is so important.
That was very powerful.
Yeah, and
good.
you guys were a big part of like kind of helping us. I mean, majority of us showed up. I would say actually a big majority didn't show up.
Yeah, I remember we had a.
Well, we begged you guys to come back to school because we were so worried.
Yeah, I remember you, like Himes somehow got our phone numbers and called our phones.
And he was like, "I'll get pizza. I'll whatever. Just come.
Yeah.
Let us see your faces." And we prayed in the library, and we, I can't remember who the officer was at the time, but
Inman.
I remember him
Inman.
praying with Dawson, and just, it was so profound, and that's something that you can't flip a switch and forget about it.
I remember that big group that wasn't there. We were all at my house because we all just met up that night after the incident happened, and we didn't know what to think about it and whatnot. But we showed up finally at like 10 o'clock the next day, and we showed up in a big group because we all left at the same time. We all walked in the door together, and we walked in, and everyone just seen our big group walk in, and everything got silent. And I physically remember my body just going numb because I knew you could hear people in the background whispering and just talking, and we all knew what they were talking about, and just I felt like sick.
Yeah.
Everyone felt sick to their stomach, and it was just weird because you can tell everyone was staring at you. Like we were different.
Yeah.
Everyone knew that it really impacted us hard.
Yeah.
That was one day I came in where I didn't know what to say to anybody because I always tried to be positive towards everybody in that situation. It's just like, what do I say?
Well, it's hard because everyone they want to help you cope, so they're trying to hug you and talk to you and say I'm sorry, but like we just experienced something we never thought we would experience, so it's kind of hard to like we know everyone's sorry and they feel bad for us and whatnot, but you just feel so numb at that point that you don't care.
Yeah.
Like you just don't know what to do.
Yeah. And so that's why just be kind every day, and then maybe you don't have to experience that too many times in your life.
All right. Well,
that was a little more serious.
Yeah, that was a
I'm
little
shaking.
serious.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I got the chills. I'm shaking.
It's just a tough day to think about. Let's get the energy back.
Let's pump this up a little.
Oh, man.
What is one thing you would tell future and new teachers who are struggling?
Don't take yourself too seriously. Laugh. I think that probably I would tell them when you're wrong, say you're wrong. And if you don't know, don't pretend, because kids can sniff out bullshit quicker than anything. And so if you're wrong, say I'm wrong. If you are sorry, because everybody has bad days. So if you're sorry, say you're sorry.
Right.
If you feel like you want to give up, go to, because everybody has those students that are your go-to students. Go to that go-to student and say how am I doing? What should I do? Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. And always find that bright spot, that happiness. This is why I went into teaching. This is what makes me so happy. And then just do that every day.
Have you had any new teachers come to you at school and ask for advice?
No, not really. No, but yeah, I'm sort of, I feel like I'm so kid based, and so. And we all teach such different things, we all, I'm the only one that teaches English too. I'm the only one that teaches, CPE and stuff like that. And we're so busy all the time,
right?
That it is in a situation. And I think we have really strong teachers at Sherwood, and teachers that have longevity. And because I think that we've built the school in this, to be this home. Mm-hmm. I think that teachers either fit and they are happy and they stay forever, or they leave and then they probably, I'm guessing after they leave, realize oh, I should have stayed, you know?
Right.
So going along with that, I know, I'm sure you've heard of this, and I'm sure a lot of other people that listen to the podcast probably think or have heard the same thing. But how does it make you feel when people say Sherwood's a good starter school?
Oh, that makes me super upset. It
'Cause
does.
I heard it all the time. And
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, we had teachers come to our school that started out their career and they left within 3 years
Yeah.
and went somewhere else.
And I think that when they say that Sherwood is a starter school, it makes me so very upset because Sherwood certainly isn't a starter school or a stepping stone because you guys are some of the best. Like, kids are kids. And, you know, you guys are just so genuine and loving, and you're so, like, hungry to learn. And, you know, it's like... So for me, that makes me feel very upset because we really have a diamond in the rough there. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so weird because you, like you said, you walk in and it's just like home. So you get to learn, you get to be appreciated, you get to be loved on, you get to be guided, you get to have all these experiences where you spend most of your time. Because, I mean, you're thinking you get there, you know, if you're like Travis at, 7:58, when school starts at 8, and you walk in, you go to class sometimes, you spend 8 hours of your day there, and then you have sports, so you're there. And so I feel like it's one of those things that we're definitely not a starter school. And I do feel like it's definitely when you have teachers that realize what they have, they stick with our Sherwood kids, and I think that's so special.
It's very special. I preach it. People are like, oh, you went to Sherwood. Like, that play. Like, I had the best 13 years of my life there.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've done so much. We've been through so much. So many random, fires, bomb threats.
Yeah.
People on the loose. Like,
Yeah.
And it's just like, I felt like I can go into school every day, and if I had a problem, I can go to any teacher, and they could just talk to me.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, I'm not in the minority of wonderful teachers. Like, there's so many wonderful teachers there, and administration, and people that care for you and love you. It's like, you could walk into Mr. Rogers' office, Mr. Himes, Mr. Steven. Like, you could walk into any of those people's office tomorrow and say, I'm upset, and they would help you. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just how it is. You could still walk into Mrs. Cantrell's room and be like, I need help with this algebraic equation. And she'd be like, boys, come on. And she'd help you,
Right.
Like, you can do that.
Right.
You can go to a baseball game and still feel like you're at home and not feel like once you're gone, you're just gone. Like you're just another kid that we passed through the system. Like, that's not how it is at Sherwood. Like, we are forever. So, and I think that's why we're not a stepping stone, or shouldn't be seen as a stepping stone.
Right. And I think it's great too, after graduating, there's teachers I see, and they're always just so happy to see us.
Oh, yeah.
And this is not like a great example, but I was at a funeral of a friend who passed.
Yeah.
We rest in peace, Alex. I was bawling my eyes out. I was struggling so hard. Mr. Donball, someone I hadn't seen in 3 years, comes in, picks me up, and hugs me and says, "All right," like, and unless, sticks with me, and we gave that guy such a hard time sometimes. Like, obviously not to his face. He was just a great teacher, a great person, and he was hard on all of us, and. Like, that's one thing that'll always stick is that moment in my life. And then Cantrell, I see them all the time, and see you all the time. Kirchhoff and Dorm, all of them.
When you got your new car, we came over to your house.
You
did.
Like,
yeah, Pierce, got a new car.
Yeah.
We're crying at Travis's wedding, because it was just the most beautiful, thoughtful wedding. And you're going through it and you're just like, oh my gosh, like, here you guys are all grown up and we still want to be a part of your story.
Right.
Right. And that is what's so beautiful about Sherwood is, like, whether you are a freshman or you're 21, like, your story is still so entwined with us, and that's really what is so special.
I just feel like it's always like you're welcomed in, like, no matter how long ago you graduated. Like, I still if I walked into the school today, I just know that everyone would be like, oh,
yeah.
how you been? Or like people are trying to catch up. Like I'll walk
Yeah.
in and see Sarah Chaikin
Yeah.
at the front desk, and we'll talk for 30 minutes before I
Yeah.
get to what I was actually there to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just a great feeling. And then Himes will come talk. And then all these teachers will start coming in. And it's just like, wow. Like,
And then we're like, go back to school so you guys can come back and teach with us because that was
Right.
the goal for both of you.
I got my associates. I'm halfway there.
That was the goal.
Life changes. You're making
Yeah.
way more money. And who knows? You may not, you may not, feel that way forever. You may come back.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
I've thought about it a few times, honestly. It's,
Yeah. You
yeah.
never know.
Heck, I still think about it to this day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You never know.
Never. I know. I wish they would pass that law here like they did in Arkansas, where if you have associates, you can come teach. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I might do that.
Yeah.
I've not recently, but I'll probably say at least probably 6 months ago, I had talked to Faith about like, oh, you'd probably kind of be cool if I became like a para at Sherwood, because they don't have to have like their teacher's degree or whatever, and I could still come and coach and.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's just something I thought about.
Yeah.
Keep it in my back pocket, maybe.
Yeah.
I-
Absolutely.
I was talking to Himes about I want to start a golf team and I want to coach it.
I heard that.
Even
yeah.
though I'm so bad at golf, I still want to be a coach. That was like my
The kids
main
were
goal.
actually really excited. Like Tommy came in and he was like, "Not playing baseball this year. I'm going to do golf with Pierce." And I'm like, oh, that is so amazing. But I don't know if you guys can get it. This was like, I don't know, September or October, and I'm like, I don't know if you guys can get it off the ground that quick, but I'm a supporter if you can.
Right. No, those kids are great. I take them golfing and yeah, and it's just, all these kids are like getting into golf, and I was like, well, the AD lives right across the road from me. Maybe I can
Yeah.
go bribe him or something.
Yeah.
I'll mow your lawn for a week if you let me
Right.
coach.
Along with the sports aspect, this is off topic a little bit, but how much of a big difference has schools taken on like the atmosphere of the student section? I've noticed that like games when I've gone
no
to,
student section.
no one's there.
None. We
But
have nothing.
and it's so weird if I think back to like whenever I was playing like basketball, whatever, football, it was packed. And it was so loud and you couldn't hear anything.
We have 4 like solid fans that come to every game, and they travel and they will go. It's sad because when I was in high school at Sherwood, I became a cheerleader, so I would have a spot because I never could get there early enough to have a spot on the bench to watch. And now, and we've asked kids like, what can we do? I mean, the basketball coach this year was like, well, he was like, I'll buy a hot dog for any kid that comes to the game. Like, we're talking about, Mr. Todd had the idea the other day about like going and just buying a bunch of gift cards at the beginning of the year and just doing raffles at the game because maybe the kids will come. And I'm like, how sad is that? And I think that you don't realize until it's over that those are the best moments of your life.
Yeah, I'd kill to do like one more game in that gym with it being packed and everyone yelling.
I'd kill do the roller coaster again.
I know,
that was my favorite thing to do. I'd get up there, everyone's strapping in.
Yeah. And it's not like a few of us haven't. We have really tried, and we have really been like, Mr. Himes is like, tell them they can get in, free to the games. Whatever it takes to get kids there, and then we'll ask like, well, why don't you come to the games? Well, I'd rather be at home, and I'm like, it's a couple hours. You can come, enjoy, it'd be the best part of your high school career is coming and hanging out with your friends and cheering and losing your voice. And because I think that a lot of times there are make it or break it games, and if we had a fan base, it would be a make it game,
Yeah. The student section's huge.
Yeah.
I'll never forget my senior year when we played Stockton, and it was a tight game. I honestly think if it wasn't for our student section and our hype squad and everything, like yelling, I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear I couldn't even hear my buddies on the court at the time telling me what play we're gonna run or something. I can't. I just felt chills to my body.
Yeah.
Like everyone was yelling so loud that the floor in the building was like shaking.
Well, and I still have that video when you guys won the football game.
Oh yeah.
And everybody ran out on the field. And that was so amazing because we'd had such a tough time with football, and then we won one, and then it was just like, by no fault of your own. Like, everybody always came out and gave 100%. And then to see at an away game, all of our fans,
Jasper,
far
Missouri.
Won. Yeah.
That was like 2.5 hours.
Like, storm the field and we're just celebrating with you guys. And it was just like, oh man, I wish we had that back.
Yeah, I'd live that night again.
Yeah.
That's one thing I regret not playing some sports my senior year.
Yeah.
But I was just
You didn't get the chance.
Well, no, but like I mean, I could have played football. I could have played.
Yeah.
I had the chance. I just didn't take it. And you know, I honestly thinking back on it, I don't think I'd change it because leading the Hive squad every game.
Yeah.
And then you know, Coach Eversole would talk to me about it. You know, the players would come and talk. And it was
You guys did the coolest stuff. Like I always played every sport that you guys had the Hype squad for, and as a player perspective, is really greatly appreciated to see that you guys are putting this much time and effort after school hours that you guys did to plan, and you guys would go out and decorate the stadium out, the football field, setting up all the posters, all the balloons, all the
breast cancer.
Pierce would be putting tattoos on people.
Yeah. It was great.
No, those were great because like I think the breast cancer awareness night.
Yeah.
That was my favorite one because there was people from other schools who heard about it who were wearing pink to the game.
Yeah.
And you know we were giving out stickers. People were writing
the
down
bags, the luminary bags that they could didn't cost anything. They could just put the name on it and put it out there to remember their loved one. Yeah, I mean
players were wearing pink.
Yeah.
You know, Coach Stackhouse allowed that and whatever. It was just that was one of my favorite nights. Like we did so many cool things.
We did.
And we had so many great ideas for the rest of the year
know.
too, for baseball and for track.
But it was so good that we had so many close games during football that we lost by like 2 or whatever, and you can just see all this sadness and everyone was depressed. But it was crazy because the next week you guys would bounce back and there'd be you guys would be even louder. There'd be more people.
It was crazy. It felt like it's hard to compare to. It felt like a game at Arrowhead. And we're just yelling, and the parents were getting in on it. You know,
it was crazy. I remember because in football, the special skills would always go out beforehand, and they'd be kicking and practicing, warming up and whatever, just the skilled players. And the stands would be packed. And we still have 30 minutes till kickoff even starts. It's still sunny out.
Yeah,
and it's crazy to see and feel that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I really don't know what it's going to take to get that back. I really don't. And because it's not like we try to do the same things, but it's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I guess that is one thing that has also changed in teaching is having crazy amounts of spirit to having no spirit. And like Dorman and them are great at spirit weeks. I mean, like they still they decorate like crazy, and they she and the Suko, they put all this effort into it, and then kids like just won't even dress up for spirit days, and I'm just like, come on, this is so fun, like, and so I don't know what it's gonna take. I don't know if lives are just so hard, or if it's the constant tension with the world and they can't focus on just having fun. Because I will hear kids say, like, they don't want to be at school and stuff, and it always just breaks my heart because you're not going to realize until you graduate, like, how great it is.
I would do anything to go back to my junior year just to be able to have 2 more years in high school. Just to be able to sit, have fun, skip class, and protect the halls like I was doing.
Absolutely.
I would give anything in the world to go back to junior year and just get rid of COVID. Like I would just do anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, that was a great time. One thing I did want to ask you about, new teachers and people who are struggling. What do you tell students who want to go into teaching?
Well, here's the sad part. Last year we had 2 kids that wanted to go into teaching, and I believe they both have changed their mind. That happens. Life leads you in different directions. I totally appreciate that and love that, and they're going to do such great things. The year before we had no one that wanted to go into teaching, and then this year we have one that maybe wants to go into teaching. And the problem is that I think more people would go into teaching if it wasn't for the pay. It just really comes down to the pay, and you can never go into teaching. I always laugh because I remember Faith posted this thing about it was like my husband making 3 times more than me, but here I go off paying the grocery bill, or it was something like that. And I laughed at that because it's so true, and the pay is never going to get better. It's just not.
It's unfortunate.
Unfortunately, it's just not going to get better. And it's not because there aren't good people out there fighting for it. There are good people out there. And it's not because people don't realize that we deserve more pay. Some people don't think that we do.
Right.
But I think what I would tell future teachers is there will never be a day in your life that you are sad for choosing teaching if you go about it with the right attitude. If you go about it with, you get to change kids' lives and the way that they look for the rest of their life. You get to change, hopefully, how they see their life. You get to be a constant supporter. You're going to be exhausted. There's going to be tears. There's always going to be, your house is always going to be a mess. There's always going to be dirty clothes because you're always going to have to stay after. You're always going to have to give your best effort, but you will never, if you fully embrace it, you will never be sad a day in your life. You will always feel fulfilled. So I would say, find you a rich husband or wife. Thank you, Lance. You're not rich, but thanks for taking care of us. And then throw yourself into it. You can't do it halfway. Like, you have to throw yourself completely into it. And then when you feel like you're getting burnt out, like I said, you have to find your people. And, like, I work with my best friend. I work, with Cammie, and sadly, Mrs. Carter left, but I'm still in constant contact with her, and she's one of my best friends. One of my best friends works at Ray Peck, and it's like, find your people, find your reason that you can reach out and that you can, and have a great administrator, but just throw yourself into it, embrace it. But it's sad because most teachers have to work a second job to make it work. I mean, that's probably why you guys decided to do something else, is because you knew it wasn't going to afford your lifestyle. It's not that you couldn't do the college thing, or that you don't have your associates, or, you couldn't hack the classes. That's not it at all. It goes back to what you have. Like, you have certain expectations. You wanted this awesome car. You want to buy a house. You wanted to get married, buy a house, buy a truck, buy a car. Like, you want to have families. You want to do those things.
You want to live comfortably.
And teaching doesn't allow you to live comfortably. It allows you to have a full heart, but it doesn't allow you to live comfortably.
And it's sad that that's how the America portrays teachers like that, because school is like another home. If you think about it, you go there for 13 years of your life. That's a big portion of your life right there. And the people, you as the teacher, are like babysitters to us kids as we grow older and older. And you tell us what to do. You teach us what to do. You lead us in the right paths. But in return with that, they pay you such small salaries, which makes no sense because, and besides that, that's why no one wants to become a teacher.
Yeah.
Because they don't pay enough, and it's just not worth it.
It's not worth it, and so you really have to find that balance and that passion of, am I going to live paycheck to paycheck, or could I go out, do something different, make good money, but not be satisfied? I have never a day in my 18 years of teaching ever woken up. I hate getting up early, but I've never gotten up and been like, dang, I don't want to go to my job. I've never felt like that before. I have always felt like I'm happy, I'm fulfilled, I want to go to my job. When the bills start rolling in, it's like, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to juggle? But I know that Lance would much rather me be happy and us juggle than me be miserable every day.
Right. Well, that's
how I feel about Faith. I want her to do what she loves to do, and I will figure out the rest.
Yeah. And I would also say, like, it's the most conducive job to having a family. Like, I literally get to spend every day with my own biological children, and I feel the same about Tate and Carter and Brody. Like, I get to spend way more time with my kids, and Faith will feel the same, than any other parent, because Like, especially at Sherwood, like you said, you're going in and out of classes all the time, and it may not even be your class, you know?
Right.
I see all of my kids, you know, like Jake comes in like 5 times a day getting snacks, you know? Like, it's wonderful. And so I get to spend every holiday, every weekend, every snow day, like, that's a perk, you know, being with them and getting to be that active role in their life that you want to be as a parent. Like, unfortunately, like, you're gonna get up before your children and go to work, and then you're gonna come home and you're gonna be exhausted, eat dinner, you know. But like you said, you would rather, and Lance is the same way, you would rather Faith do what she loves and you'll figure the rest out. And I know she would do the same for you. Yeah. You know, and so it's just it's a trade-off. It's a constant trade-off, you know, to that.
Right. It's kind of sad if you think about it that. So as in your perspective, you get to spend more time with your kids as a teacher, but then on my end, I'm a blue collar worker, and I'm gone working at least 10 hours a day. Yep. And when I'm in the busy season, it's 12 hours a day. Yep. Plus the drive to work. Yep. So I gotta wake up super early. I don't get home till super late. Yep. I come home and I eat and
you're exhausted. I mean, Lance was the same way when he was laying asphalt, and that's why finally, you know, we decided together, but mostly I put my foot down and I said, enough. Like, when Macy was born, I was like, this is your last year. You know, I knew he didn't want, he always has been a wonderful provider for us, but I knew he wasn't spending as much time with kids as he wanted to. And I'm like, we will do, if we have to sell the house and move, if we have to, whatever we have to do, we will do so that you can be home. And, you know, and I think, you know, I mean, look at the man. We sell dogs. He fixes cars up and sells them. I mean, he cuts wood.
He'll figure the rest out himself.
He'll figure the rest out, and that's what we've always done. We've always sacrificed because we want to be with our kids, because you have this much time with your kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, yeah, you'll figure it out. And you guys will too. When you have kids, you'll figure it out. You will. You will.
Well, that is great leeway.
We get great topics.
Yeah, this is great. And it's a great leeway into our last question for you. What inspires you to go to work every day? You know, you talked about it a little bit, but what really inspires you most?
What really inspires me is just everybody's so freaking funny. They really, like, so freaking absolutely hilarious. I mean, and it's like, you have to, like, give and take. Like, you know, I have one student that I don't have him anymore, because he's getting older now, you know, and so he's an upperclassman now. But it was so funny because I had a sub that kicked him out for cursing, and I was like, I remember I specifically left in the sub notes, if this young man doesn't say the F word, do not kick him out, because that, like, that's just his vernacular. That's what he does. And, like, you can be like, hey, cut it. Stop saying those words and move on, you know. But it's just because he just, like, he gets in that mode, and that's what he does, and that's what he says, and you move on, and you know, and then you just have those funny situations every day. Like, every day, something different and funny is going to happen in your life. Like, that truly, something funny is going to happen. And I look forward to that because it's something new, something hilarious, and something that is just like, I don't know. So that's what motivates me, is to get up and just enjoy the hilariousness that is teaching and life in general. Like, it's absolutely, it's so funny. I had a kid the other day moon a kid outside of my class. And I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do that. You know, I had 2 kids in my class the other day, and one of them, you know, was like, I was going to have a test and I had forgotten about it. And so somebody brought it up, and the girl, you know, she flips this student off, and then this student flips her back off. And I'm like, stop. I'm hoping that meant in a loving way. You know, it's nothing to, like, it's not your hill to die on, you know. Like, a hill to die on for me would be somebody being actually rude, or actually, right, you know, somebody that's, you know. But yeah, so just the hilariousness.
That's awesome. That's kind of what I feel like going to work too. Is like I work with great people, and I just know something crazy is gonna happen every day. Something funny, something stupid.
Yep.
What about you, Trev?
I'd have to say the funny part for sure. Like in an instance, I just worked Saturday, and I'm helping out this new crew, so I don't really know anyone really. There's this really old guy. I'd say he's probably 70, 75.
Wow.
He came out of retirement to come back and work because he's bored at home and whatnot. And he's a hilarious old guy. I was like, Jim, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. He looked at me and said, "You don't tell me how to have a effing weekend." And he was just joking, but he's like, "You don't tell me how to do my weekends." I lost it.
Anything else?
No.
That it? All right. Well, everybody, that was 5 real questions, 5 real answers with 3 real people. We're going to get into our hypothetical question of the week. Jonna, would you rather give up your dreams and live comfortably or struggle penniless until you pass?
I think I struggle penniless every day. And I wouldn't change it. So
That's great.
I wouldn't change it for the world.
I'd go on with John on that one. I'd rather struggle penniless. Just because...
Figure it out.
Yeah.
As you go.
I just figure it out.
Yeah, God provides every day. Like just today, I was like, how am I going to pay this bill? You know, and a lot of times people don't think that like I feel that way. Like I feel that just like anybody else. I feel that stress of like, how am I going to pay this bill? Or, you know, what are we going to do? How am I, you know, I have an MRI tomorrow and I owe a copay. How am I going to pay that when we just pay taxes and we just, you know, and you struggle with that. And then it's just like, I check the bank account going, okay, like how can I delay this one and put this one up? And then, you know, Lance must have sold a car or something. And I'm just like, God, thank you for always providing. So I think faith is, you know, huge.
Right.
What about you, buddy?
I'd say the same. I mean, that's kind of how I live right now. I mean, not penniless, obviously, but I think what the question online was giving us, you know, is just, would you rather live comfortably but give up your dream, or, you know, just stay how it is?
Yeah.
And I'd rather it stay how it is because I'd like to build up to that point myself than just be given to me and having to sacrifice something I didn't have to work for.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's great. Well, everybody, please let us know what you feel in the comments of our Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube. Well, everybody, it's been a great episode.
It has.
Do you have anything you would like to ask us?
No, I feel like it was a really good talk.
It was really good.
It was a really good talk.
Much needed.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, I know it was probably a little more serious than, you know, but...
That was good.
You were yourself. That's all we
different.
want.
We want different.
Right.
We like different. But before we end it, everyone, please like, subscribe, follow, and give us shouts out. Lots of shouts out. Don't forget the koozies. You know how to do it.
Right.
Lunch table, DM, and
comment
on the hypothetical question.
Where can they find us at?
On Instagram.
What?
YouTube.
What?
Spotify.
What?
And TikTok.
Yep.
At the lunch table _podcast 24.
Yes, and hopefully we can get you guys these shirts out soon. We're going to talk to our lady and get production started.
Just keep up with the Instagram.
Yep. Well, everybody, it's been a great episode. We want to thank Jonna again for coming on. Great guest.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, we'd love to have you again. Anytime you want to talk about anything, just come on. So
we'll be inviting you back on after we get a little more content.
Next week? You busy next week? But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Lunch Table Podcast, and we will see you next week.
I'm all alone, she don't even need me. I'll watch you walk away. The stars are falling right in place. I'll watch you walk away. You stole my heart from inside of me.